All right, let's get this party started. A little bit late. Well, technically early. You know, it's like in the morning. But you know what? Let's do it. I was busy today. I had an air conditioning put in. I had to do all that. Yada, yada, yada. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Let's check this out. I'm curious. This is D'Angelo Wallace's video about Cody Ko and Tana Mongeau. This apparently happened, like, I think, what, 9 years ago? Still crazy. So, like, yeah, I saw some stuff about it. Let's see if there's any new details or what we got from D'Angelo. Looks a little bit like Willow Smith, a little bit. That's not like an insult or that was just an observation, but, you know, I love you. Let's get started. Not D'Angelo. I love the person in the chat. Well, he's fine. Or them. I don't know. But anyway, let's go.
All right, Cody, let's have an uncomfortable conversation.
Hey, my name's Cody. No, I'm just kidding. I look like I could be a Cody though. Look at me, a backwards hat. My wife says I look cute like this, so that's why I have it like this. So
Someone has been alleging for years now that you, one of the largest commentary creators on YouTube, knowingly committed a crime against her when she was a minor. But YouTubers and viewers alike are ignoring and discrediting these allegations solely because the person making them happens to be an unlikable woman online, Tana Mongeau.
I don't know anything about Tana Mongeau. If she's a person that has low credibility because maybe she lies about things, I don't know if this is true. Then I could see why. But I don't know. Are people discrediting her? I feel like the general narrative is like we just don't know for a fact. She's just kind of like almost like she's saying it like vaguely, or maybe not so vaguely, but like we don't really have any proof. So what are you supposed to be able to do? You know, I guess that's where I'm at, but okay.
And you know that people are ignoring this because nobody is working harder to bury the story than you. And you're getting away with it because commentary YouTube has a serious problem.
I feel like people, I feel like people talked about it. What is commentary YouTube? I mean, I talked about it already. I think Ethan Klein talked about it. I feel like everybody talked about it. There's just not a lot to talk about. In the past, she was less credible, but she's cleared her name up. I feel like people are talking about it. I've seen people talking. What are you supposed to say unless there's new information? It's like, oh, he might have done this thing. We don't know. That's not good if he did. What state? That's bad. You know, the conversation about whether it was or wasn't predatory is on the table. It could definitely be. Unfortunately, some people have an older, you know, state of mind framing where they think that 17 is close enough to 18. You know, it's not good. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of different variables here. Definitely bad if it's true. I mean, I don't know. Like, where are we? I don't know where we're at. Is there any new information? Thank you so much for the 19-month small gut from Devin Armstrong. Happy 19 months, father gut. I just entered the chat. Wow, thank you. Only Ethan was the biggest cover. Ethan's like the biggest commentary person. No, he's a huge content creator that gets like 1 million views per 3-hour stream. One of the most successful people. I feel like people are. I mean, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's move on.
I can't blame any of your viewers or my viewers for not hearing about this because you've done such a good job hiding it up until now that I only found out about it recently. The situation has been talked about by smaller channels.
Small channels, let's see. I don't know who that is. I feel like these channels aren't necessarily small, all of them, but okay.
The situation has been talked about by smaller channels. It's been discussed at length on other platforms.
Didn't she just say something about it, like offhand at the end of a tour or something?
And it keeps almost hitting the mainstream, like with this Rolling Stone article or this H3 podcast discussion. But the reason it hasn't caught on yet, despite all of this, is that none of your friends, nobody on your level, nobody in the commentary niche with enough pull is willing to admit that this situation makes you look terrible.
A lot of people like him a
What does that mean? Oh, it makes Cody look terrible. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
lot, and they really are like doing any kind of mental gymnastic to just ignore it.
I'm not here to accuse you of committing a crime in this video because I can't do that based on someone else's allegations. Nobody can definitively take these allegations as proof, but at the same time,
yeah, that's might be one of the reasons why people aren't covering it too much.
They should.
I mean, maybe part of it too is that, I don't know, there's other things going on, like the whole doctor disrespecting was pretty wild. I don't know.
Still be looked at and not treated.
Where he like actively admitted that he was talking to a minor. We don't even know what age yet. So
as an open secret and swept under the rug like you've been doing for so many years now. And from the way the situation keeps popping up more and more often, it's clear that there's only so much rug sweeping you can do before people start taking a closer look at things. So let's take a closer look. We both know that Tana Mongeau is a YouTube personality with a history of lies, controversy, and genuinely problematic behavior that's become so entangled with her brand that her podcast is called Cancelled with Tana Mongeau. And speaking of this podcast, about a month,
it's been going on for years. It's been hidden. Oh, well, how has it been hidden, or was I guess people just don't care? Is it that it's hidden, or do people not care because they don't take her credible and they like Cody Ko or something? I mean, that would be problematic, you know. But still, I mean, if there's no substantial proof, there's not a whole lot people could necessarily do.
A month ago, she hosted a live episode in front of an audience, and the conversation turned to you.
Who's the smallest you've ever had sex with?
Oh my God, no one look at me, Cody Ko. I can say that. I was literally 17. I can say that.
Well, if his penis was only 13, then is it really some form of sexual misconduct, assault? Would that be an assault? I guess it's statutory rape, depending on the state. A little joke there for you guys. I'm tired. Sorry if it was bad.
Clips started making the rounds and people were understandably perturbed because if Tana Mongeau was 17, you would have been 25. So people started speculating and Tana decided to set the record straight.
I hooked up with Cody Ko when I was 17 and he was 25.
She claims that not only were you fully aware of her age.
You know, it's interesting. When I was younger, this is a little bit of a ramble, but hooking up used to mean have sex with, and then apparently, like, then a generation after me, it just meant kiss, and I'm assuming that meant sex because she said that she saw his schmingle. So, but yeah.
At the time, but someone even tried to stop you and you went ahead anyway.
There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a Playlist Live where she pulled him aside and told him like, yo, she's 17, and then we still went and hooked up.
To be clear, 17 is under the age of consent in many states, including Florida, where
True. It needs to be under the age of consent in every state, though. We really got to get on. We really got to work on that one, guys. Let's work on that, America.
This live used to take place. So this means that Tana Mongeau is accusing you of statutory rape, and she's not trying to hide that.
This isn't just some crazy tea. It was a crime.
Nothing would make this situation better, but plenty of things make...
Well, Cody, you shouldn't have been fucking a kid. Oh, well, not a kid. It's a teenager. You know, but still, you know what I mean? Like, what's... Why? What is going through his head? I truly wonder, like, what's the benefit there? I don't know. But okay.
Make it worse. Like the fact that she was a fan of yours at the time, adding an additional layer to the power dynamic you would have had over her.
Potentially, sure, I guess.
I grew up loving him, and I think you know what I mean? Like, I was just, like, excited.
Yeah. I mean, like, the power dynamic argument doesn't matter. Well, I mean, it matters because she's young, right? Because if she was 18, the power dynamic doesn't matter anymore. Just to be clear, she was 17, so you could I absolutely argue like she's more impressionable because she's young, so that added layer of a power dynamic is an issue. But to be clear, if she was like a consenting adult, that power dynamic doesn't matter unless he leverages his power over her. So unless he says like, oh, if you sleep with me, I'll give you something, or I will take something away from you, like I'll make you famous if you fuck me, or I will ruin your career if you don't fuck me. Right. But again, you know, since she's already underage and she's already more impressionable, sure, that definitely adds an aspect to it.
And a fan.
Tana seems to have many feelings about this, which we'll go over a bit later, but she stated very clearly that the actions she's accusing you of are inexcusable.
If I had a 17-year-old daughter or a little sister or something, like, I would kill. I would never let it fly.
These recent allegations are bad enough on their own, but there are a couple of things that make them worse still. Things that many people don't know yet, but you do. You know that Tana has been making this same specific...
Are we him? Are we who he's talking about? They? Them? I don't know. Is D'Angelo non-binary? I'm just getting the vibe. I'm not criticizing. I just don't want to be disrespectful. You know what I mean? I want to be polite. You know what I'm saying?
The claim against you for years now. Here she is back in 2021 saying the same thing.
I was 17 at the time, 18. I started kind of hooking up with other people. Shout out JC Kalen. Shout out Cody Ko.
But what lends the...
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Most credibility to Tana's claims, and what is really the most damning thing for you, Cody?
Well, I mean, that does add a little bit of a layer to it, unless there's more there, because the context sounds like she wasn't saying it negatively. Sounds like she was doing like, oh, shout out to Cody Ko, we were sleeping together, like, you know. Unless there's more there that makes it seem like it's like she was telling you kind of like, oh, fuck you to him. But if she was like, yeah, man, I like Cody Ko, shout out to him, we fucked when I was 17, that's... The fact that she's not being malicious about the way that she's saying it suggests she doesn't even realize that it's wrong yet at that point. That she may not even see that there's anything wrong with it. And she's like, yeah, shout out. Like, oh, that's not a good shout out. But
is a clip that you might not have even seen yet.
See,
I read the Rolling Stone article, I watched the YouTube videos about this, and they all missed something. And I understand why. The clip I'm about to show you is extremely hard to find. The original has been lost to time, and it's a wonder we have this on video at all. But if there was anything to give me any more clarity about these allegations before I formed my opinion, I was going.
She didn't know it was wrong until she was 25 looking at 17-year-old kids. Yeah, that may make sense. You know, that's the thing is about the younger people. Well, mostly younger girls, they like older men. So like, you know, 16, 17-year-old girls, they like guys that are like in their 20s. They think that they're cool and special. If a 25-year-old talks to them, they must be adult and cool and special. Wow, this 25-year-old guy talked to me. I must be so fucking mature. You're not. You're stupid. You're an idiot. And you know what I mean? It is the older person's responsibility to not take advantage of you, you know, but you know, also educate some young people, try to communicate to them that they're dumb. It's hard to, though, you know. That's why the blame will rest on the adult in this situation. So yeah,
going to find it. Remember how Tana said that fellow YouTuber Gabby Hanna tried to stop you before everything allegedly went down? Well, did you know that Gabby is actually on record telling the exact same story several years ago?
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he was like, oh my God, thank you for telling me. And then he turned that.
This is really...
Damn. Cody, this is true. You're a sussy little baka. That doesn't change it too much for me because I don't give a shit about this person. He's a loser in general. I never really particularly cared for his content. But what the fuck are you doing, bro? What the fuck? So I guess the allegation is that he fucking knew. I mean, again, this is all speculation. Maybe it's not true, but you know, I don't know. He's probably never going to say anything about it because I guess it would be damning to his career. But I wonder how it'll play out. That's fucking crazy, though.
Really bad. People make...
You don't like Gabby Hanna? Dude, I used to have a weird crush on Gabby Hanna a few years ago. I don't even know what it was, brother. I can't even explain it. There's something about her. She's crazy. And there's something about crazy women that I find attractive. Same thing with the girl from Ned's Declassified. And my wife. They're all fucking crazy. So, yeah.
Accusations all the time, specifically regarding things that are very difficult to prove or disprove, unfortunate as that may be. But when somebody makes an allegation and they say they have a witness, and that witness can be found telling the exact same story years before any of this came out,
don't criticize me, bro.
That's not something I can just ignore. In a situation that cannot be proven,
nose or nose? Might be. I have a thing for noses, yeah.
Corroboration by a third party goes a long way. And frankly, Cody, the allegations against you seem to have been corroborated. But instead of researching to find these answers like I did, many of your fans seem far more interested in attacking your accuser.
I have seen so many comments, but what was she wearing? It's Tana.
Wait, hold on, let's see that. That's crazy.
In attacking your accuser.
I've seen so many comments, but what...
We are always saying we mature so much faster than men at shit. Tana looked older than Cody does then and now. It's not like she was a boobless virgin with no experience. If it's not a trauma for her, then what the fuck? She was 17 months away from being 18. It's crazy. Wow, that's quite a hard defense. So to be clear, it's doubtful that she has a trauma from this. Just that alone, that age gap's probably not going to be traumatic. Probably going to be more of like a yucky moment you look back on and go like, ugh, I wish I didn't do that. But it could have been. You know, if you're a child, or not child, again, I want to be proportionate to the language. If you're a teenager and you have an adult interacting with you, that could be a very distressful experience based on you're more susceptible to being taken advantage of. So if they just slept together, you know, that's still wrong. It's still something that he needs to be held accountable for. But being young has the ability to leave you more vulnerable to being actually like taken advantage of in a very serious way, in a predatory way. And like that part we haven't really seen. We don't know yet if it was like predatory or if it was just disgusting, right? Still wrong, right? That context matters enough to talk about it, right? Because the intentionality, you know, his intentionality might have been like, oh, she's young, like I really like she's easier to like take advantage of. She'll fuck me, blah blah blah. Or it could have been like, oh, whatever, dude, she's 17, like, that's close enough, I'm a funny little frat boy. Like, that could have been his dumb fucking mentality. We don't really know. We would have no way of actually knowing. But still, definitely wrong. I mean, yeah, when men and women mature at different rates, probably. I mean, sure. But it doesn't matter. We have a pretty hard line set in age of consent. I don't think that we need to make we don't need to make age of consents like fucking shoe sizes. Like, yeah, well, 18 is like, 16 for boys, and mentally, like, you know what I mean? Like 18 and 16 are equal. 18-year-old boy. Like, we don't have to start doing fucking predator boy math here. Just why run defense so hard? Like, if you're somebody that likes him, you could be like, oh, I found that like really gross, and I don't think it's appropriate. But like, he could have changed or something, whatever. Like, if you want to acknowledge the wrong and then like argue that he's different now or that he's not a predator, that's fine. But like, running hard defense for this show like just communicates that there's nothing that could be said about the scenario that's ever going to make you go like, oh, Cody, that's fucking nasty, brother.
What was she wearing? It's Tana, so who cares? Well, it's Tana Mongeau.
The reaction to this has been unsurprising but incredibly disappointing, demanding proof that they know she can't provide.
Where's the proof? Until there's any, this is as valid as flat earth theory. So like, I mean, until there's proof, which she can't provide, which is unfortunate, but until there's proof, like, yeah, there's not a whole lot that can necessarily be done. It depends on like your frame of mind. If this makes you not want to interact with this guy anymore, that's totally understandable. For people that are like, oh, like, that's fucked up, but I want the proof first, that's also understandable. I don't think it's as valid as flat earth theory. It seems like there's more validity to this than flat earth theory, so that's a bit of a hyperbolic statement. But again, it's the way that they're expressing this that communicates that they will never believe it. If it's not this excuse, then it's going to be like another excuse. Then there's going to continuously be a backpedal.
Acting like she's...
How, though? What's being held accountable? I don't know. I really have no idea what being held accountable means in this situation. I mean, it could mean that he loses his platform. It could mean that he publicly talks about it and like apologizes about it and tries to have a educated conversation about like power dynamics and age of consent, and especially since like this was 9 years ago. That's not like a huge long amount of time. But again, there are people with like gross frame of minds. They're like, whatever, you're close enough. I don't know. I really don't know. Fucking give me a million V-bucks. I don't fucking know what it looks like. But
she's only doing this to gain...
How would you even provide proof? I don't think there's like any way that she could provide proof. So it's the unfortunate reality.
Clout or ruin you somehow, despite the fact that she's never once put your name in a video title over this. Or worst of all, implying that a
she wasn't no victim. She was 17, obviously consented.
17-year-old could have truly consented to any of this.
I mean, it depends on the law and all the conversation there. I mean, like, it was probably willing, but willingness doesn't necessarily mean consent if you don't have like either the mental capacity or you're too young to be able to consent, right? So,
but let's be clear about one thing. That is not the case. No one...
Yeah, maybe a gift card to Target. That's probably a great... You guys are ridiculous. That's definitely great accountability. So the narrative to me is so insane. How is a 17-year-old 364-day a child, but 18s is an adult? So 1 minute it's rape, but the next minute it's not. I mean, like, what I don't understand these arguments. I don't get it. Like, why can't it just be like, and like, we can acknowledge that sleeping with a 17-year-old at 25 is not as bad as sleeping with a 13-year-old at 25. We understand that. But I mean, your argument is like, oh, what's the difference between 17, 364 days and 18? Like, I don't know, a day. Like, why? Your argument is like, well, they're basically the same arguments. Like, wait the fucking day, right? Still weird to wait the day, but it's like, you're just like, oh, it's just it's a bizarre defense run. It's inappropriate. We have to draw a hard line somewhere, and that's where we drew the line. And I think it's acceptable. Maybe we should talk about increasing the line. I don't know. But it's just like, you find out about this, you should be shutting it down. Even if you don't care, you should shut it down for your own fucking sake later in the future. And that's the thing. It's like, you'd think that you'd have enough sense. I know this is going to sound weird, but you'd think you'd have enough sense to be like, okay, this person's 17. Like, this could hurt me in the future. I probably shouldn't do it. Obviously, you shouldn't do it because it's wrong. But at the very least, if you don't care about the person that you could have a negative impact on, why wouldn't you care about yourself enough to be like, I probably shouldn't say this? like I don't understand. Where's your self preservation? Maybe people just didn't think about this shit back then. It's just so fucking bizarre.
Amount of retroactive age calculations or what if scenarios change the fact that what Tana described would be, objectively speaking, a crime. A crime which you've said absolutely nothing about. And even if this wasn't illegal, you remember being 25. You would have known then, as I currently know at age 25, that nobody this age
Everybody's so young, bro. Jesus Christ.
should need an explanation for why a 17-year-old is off limits.
That's fair. Definitely true.
Because you remember being 17 too. Now, thankfully, Tana's personal
Not me,
experience with this isn't one of trauma. In fact, I've seen people defending you by saying, Tana said she doesn't care, so why should any of us care?
I mean, I think it's like the principle of the situation. We should care because if we don't care about this, then that means that the next time it happens, we don't care then. Like, care now, communicate to society that we're like, this is an inappropriate behavior, and if you are a content creator, really anybody, but let's say you're a content creator and you engage in this type of behavior, like we're not going to interact with you as much. It's going to hurt your bottom dollar. At least something that'll make people be like, oh, this is right. Like that's what's happening with Doc. I mean, this guy, Dr. Disrespect, I don't know how old the person is. Speculated 17. She might be fucking 16, 15. We really have no idea. That he tried to meet up with this girl and sleep with them, and he got hit hard, which he should have been. And so, like, Cody seems to have taken that to the next level. So, yeah, something. You know what I mean? I don't know what, but something.
That's not exactly what she was saying.
I don't associate or hold it with trauma because
He wants this to be seen as a crime. I mean, if it's a crime, is it a crime, isn't it? Like, what do you mean? Is he's the Angelistic cancellation guy? Is he? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's true. I don't really interact with him enough to know that or see. But like, if he's right, he's right. You know, it's wrong. It's not a good thing. I mean, I feel like, you know, let's say, you know, your kid's 17 years old on the internet and they're not even a celebrity, and like the fucking 25-year-old YouTuber hits him up. It's like, hey, you're cute. And she's like, oh my God, I'm 17. He's like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Wouldn't you want that protection to exist? I mean, this is where the advocation starts, right? Got to call these things out. You know, unfortunately, there's a lot of men, especially, that they don't care about age of consent. They just care about what they feel like they can get away with. And I don't know if that's Cody, but you know, we need to set a pretty hard, stern line of like, stop trying to fuck with a young person of an inappropriate age range. And I mean, this is one of the instances where you kind of got to do it. You know, maybe there's a young man in Cody's audience that's stupid. Maybe they are even mentally less mature than somebody, but they need to hear this information so it can be communicated to them that they're being fucking stupid. You know? So, did Doc try to sleep with them? I didn't see any chat logs or anything. Yeah, you're right. We didn't see any chat logs. We just had him admitting that on frequently a person that he knew was under the age of 18. He would talk in an inappropriate manner, which we know means he was sexting the person in some capacity, and tried to meet up with them at Twitch. So I think that if you have like a regular person's brain, you could see that he was trying to fuck a kid. Sorry, he was trying to sleep with a teenager. Very clear to me. That's from his own admittance. All right, if you read it, he's very clear. He was consistently, not just once, but multiple times, having inappropriate conversations that obviously went into a sexual nature, because he wouldn't be like, oh, we had inappropriate conversations if they were talking about poopy farts. All right, he's using plausible deniability lawyer language. Okay, and he said he tried to meet up with them at Twitch. So, yeah, right? I'm pretty sure he said that part too. So, yeah, it's pretty gross stuff. Tried to fucking sleep with a 17, 16, we don't know, a minor. So yeah, you know, we got you know.
I am such a comparative.
You just hate everything. All these things come out in 5 years later. I mean, yeah, this comes out like 9 years later for sure. I understand that could be frustrating, but like, when else, right? When else is it going to come out? You know,
person where I'm like, so many worse things have happened to me.
And even if something,
I mean, it couldn't come out at the time, but just goes into the power dynamic conversation. Because if she liked Cody when she slept with him as allegedly as an underage person, like, do you think that she's going to feel more inclined to come out about it, or do you think that she's going to feel inclined to suppress that information because she wants Cody to like her and doesn't want Cody to be angry at her in some capacity? Blah 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 blah. It's a whole bunch of power dynamic conversations. That's why you don't fuck around with kids. Sorry, I got to be more. I got to be more appropriate in my language, okay? Because it's a teenager, right? It's a 17-year-old. The kid is like a 9-year-old, right? So she's a young person. So
something isn't consciously internalized as an identifiable source of trauma, the body keeps the score.
I know things manifest in ways other than me directly feeling them. Like maybe I don't feel traumatized in certain aspects from certain things, and other things I do. But, you know, maybe they just manifest in ways other than directly feeling.
The answer to why any of us should care is that a person has tried to come forward about her experience and has been met with the most vitriolic victim blaming I've seen.
Just say, you just believe any nasty slag with a gaper. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, these people are crazy. It's fine to be like skeptical and be like, yeah, you know what, I need more information. That's totally fine to say. That's kind of like where I'm at. You know, this seems relatively credible, but like that's where I'm at. Like I don't know until I have the information in front of me. Like there's nothing wrong with saying that. Like the way that these people are talking about it, it's like they don't want it to be real. Like if it comes out that it's real, they're gonna do even more. Seems like the cliche party girl who gets wasted drunk doing whatever drug a guy will six her free. What? Sleeps with anyone who gives her attention and then later regrets it. She had shit parents who didn't give her the proper love, attention, and care she deserved and need as a child. It's unfortunate, but just because she has childhood trauma doesn't mean we have to believe her or side with her if she willingly slept with him. Yeah, it makes him sleazy, but acting like he's a rapist or crazed sex offender is a reach. Okay, that's fucking intense. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's necessarily saying that he's like a crazed sex offender, but and I guess it would be considered statutory rape, but I wouldn't call him like a rapist because that's like usually like very forced upon and like that's consistent. You could believe he did the bad thing without being like an actual predator. Like, just to be clear, I mean, there's a fucking nuanced conversation. We don't have to like guzzle his cum here. Like this person is very clearly just opening up like a trash can and just guzzling all of Cody Ko's fucking cum. So incredible stuff.
Seen in years. She's been dismissed, discredited, and disbelieved before anybody ever gave her a chance. Because it's Tana, which sets a horrible precedent. That if
how bad was Tana? Like, is there a I don't mean to say justifier, but because was she such a terrible person in the past that like lied about everything that people wouldn't want to believe her, or like what's the I don't really know the lore here.
Person runs out of goodwill, they lose the right to come forward with their experiences.
The most traumatizing thing of all of this really was seeing how many people like don't believe people or don't believe me. I feel
yeah. Well, I mean. That's a whole well, there's two conversations I have there. One is that it's something to keep in mind to people that sometimes, and I'm not saying don't come forward about something that happens to you, but sometimes, especially public attention can add to your trauma, right? So if you come out about something that was like really horrible to you or happened to you that was horrible, is what I meant to say, and you put it to the court of public opinion, that negative feedback or potential negative feedback could be very distressing and could potentially be more traumatizing than the actual negative experience itself. Like social media can be brutal. And so that's a conversation about productive pathways of expressing yourself, you know, because I especially even applied to like, you have these young people on TikTok that are like, oh, my trauma this, my trauma that. And it's like, okay, it's not bad to express your trauma, but sometimes that will turn into either more trauma, or an embarrassment later on that makes you feel yucky about it. So it's something to think about to express it. Be ready for that at the very least. But, you know, in some instances, depending on what it is, or, you know, be careful about how you express it. Fuck, I forgot the other point that I was going to make. I'm just fucking a big stupid idiot. So, number two is that the online atmosphere, the problem is that like the Me Too movement was a very good thing. And I think it gave a lot of people the ability, the strength, and the courage to come forward about situations. The problem is that the internet is a breeding ground for like false accusations, and that is a very big problem. You have people going around sensationalizing stories because now you get credit or clout for saying things like this. Personally, from me hearing Tana Mongeau, doesn't really sound like she's trying to get clout. She's not really she's not really playing it up. She's not even like, I have a trauma, blah, blah, blah. She's just kind of like, oh, this didn't happen. It was kind of fucked up. And it's like, okay, she sounds credible. Like, to her credit, I kind of believe her. Again, I can't can't go like, oh, it's definitely happened until I'd see proof. But like, she seems credible about it. But there are a lot of people who do leverage false accusations because you can unfortunately get clout from doing stuff like this now. It's very unfortunate. And so some people are skeptical. All it really takes is one or two people that are weaponizing sexual assault or lying about having it to make people feel very dismissive of it, because it's like, you know, it's all really, that's for like anybody. If you have like a bad experience, one or two bad experiences with a man makes you not like men. One or two bad experiences with somebody who lies, you get the point that I'm saying here. This is kind of how it works, right? That's the whole. So yeah, there's a lot of this stuff that goes on in this instance, but
so bad for all of these young girls because then they see that and then it makes them not want to come forward.
And you, Cody, are part of the reason she's been met with this reaction. Your status as one of YouTube's golden boys has made it possible for you to ignore a situation that almost anyone else would have had to respond to by now.
I know for a fact
I mean, from a business perspective, he probably should never respond. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. I'm just saying he probably won't respond. Because since there's no proof, and it doesn't seem super mainstream, there's no pressure. Like it'll turn into an issue, and I guess this is part of D'Angelo Wallace's strategy here, is to like, you know, make him feel like he has to, or it might like hurt his bottom dollar, or it might hurt, like, so yeah, sure, go for it.
You swapped out Cody Ko with someone that like people didn't like that much.
Oh my God.
I would be receiving so much more sympathy.
I find your silence on the situation to be uncomfortable, because I know that if Tana's allegations are true, then silence would be your only option.
Yeah, pretty much.
Since telling the truth would be tantamount to confessing to a crime, and lying would put you at risk of being contradicted by a witness.
Yeah, pretty much. That's probably the exact reason why he's not going to come forward about it.
And like I told you at the beginning, I'm not accusing you of committing a crime, but even...
I mean, there's the last, and this is just to bring it up for... Yeah. The last one could be that he doesn't want to even bother giving it credit. Again, she seems pretty credible, but... you know, I suppose there could be a world where she's not, and if he responds to it, now articles get to go, Cody Ko says he didn't, you know, do this thing. Whereas, like, you know what I mean? Like, any response creates a story, especially when he's as big as he is. And so for him, it might be like, well, if I respond, then what's going to happen? You know, people are going to write an article, say this, oh, he said he didn't do it, but blah, blah, blah. You know, even if he's innocent, which I don't think he is. But again, what the fuck do I know? I'm not a fucking proof machine. I don't have a time machine, so...
If Tana...
If I did, I also wouldn't use it, because if I went back in time and changed anything, maybe I wouldn't meet my wife, and then I'd be very sad.
says is false, your silence is still grossly incompetent at best. Why are you choosing the path that would be your only option if you were guilty? Now, some seem to think that you're not obligated to speak up.
If you think critically, you'd acknowledge the fact that she has a track record of lying for clout. I don't know if that's true. Maybe that is. Trying to cancel others with proven lives, spamming folks, and fake charity scams. She crossed legal and moral boundaries plenty in the past, lying. So are you surprised she ruined her reputability? Fact of the matter is it's not proven. He isn't obligated to address it. And if it's not proven, just like you're not obligated to continue on this subreddit, despite making up your mind, already based on nothing but allegations, speculation. So leave them. I mean, listen, if her past is that bad where she's caught lying like 7 times or something, you know, that's an unfortunate reality, but like that's obviously not going to help her. I mean, if somebody is a consistent liar, some people are going to rightfully believe that this might be another one. Like I said, like I don't know if she is a liar. That person could be sensationalizing everything. I don't know her past, so I couldn't tell you. But if she lied that much, if she did a charity scam, if she's doing all these different things, I mean, you know, you can't really blame people for not believing her, but I don't know how much of that's true. I really don't.
And maybe that's what people around you are telling you as well. But from one creator to another, you absolutely have an obligation to, at the very least, call out the misogyny.
Is it kind of true?
The victim blaming, and all manner of cognitive dissonance that's come.
Well, I mean, if he acknowledged any of it at all, then that's obviously he's not going to do that.
From your audience,
it's either all or nothing on a response to this,
in the name of defending you against allegations that you're too cowardly to address. And to be clear, this is cowardice because you demonstrate it whenever there's controversy afoot. All right, Tana's further claims make it sound like you're terrified.
3 weeks ago, how often does he post? Does he not?
All right, well,
how come he hasn't posted in a while? Does he just like post once a month now?
Said something about it online.
I mean, I imagine it's just stay silent. Beta male.
Left, right, left, right, left. Comrade, like this video immediately. How do you become an alpha male? That's the question that begets many a dude nowadays. Well, luckily, there is a course.
Oh. I guess these are all comments from this video that were okay. All right. Okay.
And it was starting to surface, and he texted me like, are we good? And was like, I said yeah, and like he was like, my wedding's coming up.
You do have a history of making bad choices when you're terrified of people finding things out.
Could she show those? I mean, I guess that would be a start of him saying, hey, are we good? I mean, at least it's something.
Like your history of,
even if it's not explicit,
using slurs.
Beast. Just kidding.
Nigga 7, nigga 8, nigga 9, nigga.
There's more clips.
To be honest with you, I don't really care about the slur thing, especially if it was like 10 years ago in the past. Very different online space, and the you know, the sphere, the online sphere was very edgy. It doesn't make it right, but it was a very different thing. I'm a little more concerned with somebody being 25, potentially taking advantage of a child. Oh, okay, a teenager. Like those are two proportionate things, you know what I mean? Also, not everybody that uses slurs does weird shit like that. So
clips than that, but the reason most people are blissfully unaware of them is because you posted your vague apology not on Twitter,
he posted an apology,
not on YouTube, but on Patreon.
Hey y'all, some old vines where I say some really insensitive things have been sort of, oh, I don't care. We're still talking about slurs. I don't give a shit about that.
Despite acknowledging in your apology that the clips were surfacing on Twitter. This is one of many examples of your poor handling of controversy. Not
that doesn't seem that poor. He's like, oh, let me acknowledge this on Patreon and then move forward from it. It's, I guess I'm just not going to care about the slur thing. Slurs are bad. Not as bad as sleeping with minors. So I don't really care about those things.
Not many people know that you've
Tana used slurs too. Yeah. It's not good to use slurs. I'm just saying, I feel like this is a totally different thing.
Already lost fans over an eerily similar topic. You used to frequently feature and promote your college friend Colby Leechman in your videos until it came out that
I don't know who the fuck that is.
During your school days, Leechman's university put him on probation for, as a United States District Judge would later put it, the non-consensual videotaping of a sex act with another student, showing the video to other people, lying to the police about the video, and behaving horribly to that individual. And
that's like legitimate frat boy behavior. How did Cody Ko ever get a following? This is like actual legit frat boy behavior. Because like to a dumb fucking frat boy, they're like, oh, I'm just gonna fuck this girl and record it and show my butt. It's so cool. It's revenge porn. It's disgusting. Yeah, this guy has like this pathetic, disgusting mentality. So you're hanging around with people who engage in revenge porn, and you're sleeping with fucking at least a 17-year-old. It's just like, what are you doing? I don't know. To me, it just shows like a pattern of disregard. I mean, these frat boys are fucking losers in the first place. I don't know, maybe I look a little bit like one because of the hat, but my wife just says I look handsome with my hat backwards. Okay, and I like it when my wife says I look handsome, so suck my balls. Okay, unless you're 17, then don't. Okay, enough. Yeah.
And at least one other woman. To make matters worse, the woman...
Not him, his friend did that? Yeah, that's a good point to say, but still, I mean, like, what kind of fucking person does that kind of shit? It's still something. I don't know. I feel like, what kind of friend does that? I mean, I guess maybe he didn't know at the time. I don't know. But still, it's just like, okay, he's doing frat boy behavior, and then he has a frat boy friend, you know what I mean? This is years ago. All right. You know, maybe there's context I don't know about. But still, it's fucking disgusting behavior to do that kind of thing, so.
Woman in the video also alleged that Leechman drugged her before the recording and that she hadn't actually consented to anything at all. You had this man in...
That could be true, or she might have been so embarrassed she said that. I don't really know.
Your videos. You were telling us to follow...
Cody's married with a kid now? Okay, that's cool, man. And you know what? If fucking... Let's be real, and I know it's not quite this extreme, but like if somebody fucking raped somebody when they were 20 years old and then they grew up and got married and had a kid, maybe they changed. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe they'll do it again. I don't know. Like, what's the argument here? Is like, what is there like a statute of limitations on stuff morally at the very least? Like, I don't think so. I mean, like, it's still fucking just degenerate behavior if he did it. You know, I understand people can change, but like, it's not like we're talking about talking about something that's kind of fucked up. You know.
Follow him on Instagram, and at some point you did wise up, so he's no longer part of your content, but he still seems like he's very much a part of your friend group. From the continued hangout since then to inviting him to your wedding just last year, people are under the impression that you're best friends with someone who, at best, committed an illegal sex act and at worst is an alleged rapist. And
you put it behind the paywall, the apology. I guess so. I mean, I imagine he would have known it would have got out. I really have no idea. I don't really care about the slur thing that much, so I don't care.
No matter how many times people rediscover this information over the years, you refuse to say anything at all. You could clarify this, but you won't. But now your cowardice has reached a new low. You've tried speaking, and
his friend only pleaded guilty to the filming. That's still wrong. I don't know. I think it's gross. Like, imagine being filmed without somebody telling you, like, while you're having sex with them, and then they put it on the internet. I just think it's nasty.
You've tried
not on the internet. They show anybody. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't be showing anybody that. You have some fucking decorum, you know?
And now you're choosing censorship. On your YouTube channel, where you've been pumping out content nearly every day now,
Is he? I feel like he hasn't been. Just look. Does he have another channel? Yeah, I'm wrong. I'm curious now.
Alright, welcome back to That's Cringe today.
Shut the fuck up. I keep hitting, like, changing the sizing of my thing. This is his channel. He really hasn't posted in a while. 3 weeks. Maybe he has a secondary channel?
Of course.
Oh, I guess so. And then a podcast channel. Okay, incredible. No idea why that came up. Thank you. This is from 5 days ago. I guess he does lives and then clips of the lives. I don't know. I guess whatever. I don't care.
Hey, quick note.
And then he's doing... Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess he posts every couple days on his Cody Ko channel.
You know,
gotcha. Interesting. Let's see what we got here. It's newest first. Wop, wop, wop. Toxic gossip train. Okay. They can never make me hate you. Wow. Okay, fatty. Okay. Incredible stuff. Fucking love the comment section. I'll look at the chat. What's in the chat that I need to look at? That's relevant to me.
Couldn't find a single comment on your last video about this situation.
Once you saw somebody cover this and they seemed outraged that people would want you to cut off a friend that they assaulted somebody. I feel like my friend group would beat the shit out of somebody that assaulted somebody. I don't know. It's like what a fucking man does. He beat the fuck out of rapists. I don't know. But I'm from the hood. I'm not from the hood, but yeah. Usually you beat the fuck out of rapists and fucking child predators. It's kind of like a thing to do in the real world. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't be a friend with that person. It's fucking disgusting shit, so.
Not even one. Comparing that to the comment section on your Instagram.
I just feel like if you're willing to go as far as to rape somebody, like how could it work? And again, that's not what he necessarily did. Like, bro, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Like, if I heard somebody was recording having sex with girls and then they were putting it out, like showing people, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to be their friend anymore. I think this is gross behavior. So that just communicates to me that like Cody is okay with that behavior. Whatever. Maybe I'm going on too much about this, but
where every single comment I saw was about this, it's clear that you're heavily censoring your audience on YouTube. But surely you must have realized the limits by now, since people have just transferred the conversation over to your wife's channel. The fact that her comment section is overrun due to your decision to stay silent about this should be all the proof you need that that decision was wrong. At this point, your silence...
I mean, it is going to be the right decision for him if he has no solid defense, you know. That's just a reality of the situation.
And censorship...
I'm not saying that's what he should do, I'm just saying.
...are a response with disturbing implications. The only thing that I've seen this hidden portion of your audience asking for is the truth. So why aren't you telling it? And your silence isn't the only one that's bothering me either.
All these Reddit threads, like if my name's on any thread, it's all getting deleted.
I witnessed the heavy-handed moderation of your subreddit in real time as I researched this video. I would refresh the page and posts would suddenly be unapproved by moderators after racking up hundreds of comments, removed because they could, quote, instigate drama, or more commonly, just locked and or removed with no reason given whatsoever. I'm sure whoever is doing this thinks they're helping you, but you should probably tell them that they're making things look 10 times worse. But it's not just your moderators.
Maybe.
It's your friends and fellow YouTubers too. It's no coincidence that with the exception of the H3 podcast, I haven't seen a single channel over 1 million subscribers do so much as acknowledge that this situation exists. And I'm not talking about channels that never would have discussed something like this either. I mean the same channels that were rightfully calling out people like Dr. Disrespect for texting a minor, which are the same channels that are now completely ignoring a scenario with an even bigger creator.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about that, then you would also talk about this. This is arguably worse, to be honest with you. I don't think Doc actually slept with the person, so
you're being
still wrong, just to be clear. But
accused of doing something much worse. You can't say it's because the allegations are unconfirmed, because the channels that I'm talking about discuss rumors all the time. And this video is
what is like a T channel?
All the proof you need that there's still plenty to discuss, even without making definitive statements. The general public may not know about the situation, but I promise you, anyone who's online enough to run a YouTube channel does.
The amount of people in this industry who like want to protect him and are like talking to me in a way where it's like they, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Or even just friends like, but I love.
I wonder, this is a good genuine question. I wonder how much of these people are, well, I mean, it's more likely, let's be clear, that they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to potentially like hurt the their own bottom dollar. If they hurt their relationship with him in some capacity or his audience. But I wonder if any of them are afraid of a defamation lawsuit, and maybe that's why they're not saying anything. I don't know. I'm not saying that that's true. I mean, it's doubtful it is, but maybe he's like a person that could use his... Well, he definitely has the money to use those finances to bully people if he wanted to. And so maybe there's like a level of fear of that. I don't really know. I'm curious, but it's probably more to do with the fact that he's a large creator and they don't want to like upset him, you know?
Of him.
The community's silence on this has been so staggering that people are now saying that commentary YouTube is a boys club, aka a male-dominated space that mistreats women.
Well, I mean, what's the difference? There's a commentary YouTube, and then there's there's different types of commentary. Then you got your girl commentary. It's called the drama community, right? The lipstick people. The old lipstick lesbians. You shouldn't call them that, by the way.
While enabling and protecting men. And the truth is, Cody, whether you're guilty or not, you are being enabled to ignore this and protected from having to respond as an act of misogyny towards Tana Mongeau.
Maybe there's misogyny in there. There might also be part of it is that he's just a larger creator, and if it was a girl, people would feel the same way. I don't really know though.
We both know that on our side of commentary YouTube, any man can easily elevate himself by dunking on misogynists in his content and espousing a generally feminist viewpoint. But if that viewpoint turns to silence, the moment a situation is no longer cut and dry, then that viewpoint was a brand strategy, not a belief. The misogyny that we should be discussing,
that's a good point,
is right here in the community, yet the only thing I'm hearing is a bitter, hollow silence, one that you have the power to end. I said it in the beginning, I said it in the middle, and I'll end with this. One person's testimony does not give me the right to accuse you of doing anything illegal, but I can point out the facts. It's a fact that you and Tana were around each
I don't really have to. I don't even think it has to be illegal. I mean, even if he was in a state where the age of consent was 17, I think it's fine to call him out morally. But it's kind of gross. But
other during the year she spent,
even though like that would have an impact on his like decision making process because of where he grew up, blah 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 blah. But do we know where this may have happened or where did Cody Ko grow up? Let's see. Oh, Canada. Oh, see, that would be the potential problem. Oh. What was the age and consent? So the one thing that could potentially save him if it did happen, age of consent is 16 apparently in Canada, which is fucking gross. And I know that it happened in Florida. Well, that's the thing. Like, it happened in Florida, which still makes it illegal. So, yeah. But, like, then the argument is going to be like, well, he grew up in Canada where he thought that kind of behavior was like, acceptable. And then there's a whole conversation about, like, environmental theory. Like, your environment is going to grow you. We know that we're a mixture of genetics and environment, and that's part of your environment. And, like, you could make an argument about that if you want it to be charitable. But, you know.
Specified, as seen in your uncomfortable collab videos, which are still online. It's a fact that Gabby Hanna has made claims that seem to corroborate Tana's allegations against you. And it's a fact that you are suppressing your audience's knowledge of these allegations by censoring your YouTube comment section. These things may not prove Tana's allegation, but you better believe that they contextualize them in a way that you need to address. And you still have every right to address this, even now. If you have a side of the story that we're missing, then tell it. If I have my facts wrong, say something. Nobody should ever be denied the right to tell the truth, no matter what. I'm sure we can all agree that everyone should have the right to—
That argument doesn't really work if Gabby told him it was wrong and acknowledged it. It was wrong on her, but still did it. That does, I mean, like, I'm not sitting here, like, hard defending this argument, but my argument isn't that, like, oh, he was told it was wrong in a state or in a country that he's not from. My argument is that, like, since he would have, this is just a potential argument. I'm not committed or married to this argument. I'm just saying this could potentially be part of the factor. The fact that he grew up in Canada means that he went 25 years in his life thinking that 16 was an adult to some degree, if that's the age of consent. And so even if he's in Florida, he's like, oh, well, my country doesn't matter, so I don't really care. I mean, I could see him doing that. I could see somebody from there. That's a problem with lower age of consent. That's why we need to raise the age of consent. If you set something to be legal, then you are telling society that it is moral. I'm not saying all laws are moral, all right? I'm not saying, but it's generally speaking, laws are a reflection of our morality. So, like, yeah, if that would be one of the problems, right? Like, if you grow up knowing that, 17 is bad where you come from, and then you sleep with a 17-year-old, it's going to generally be worse from an intentionality perspective than somebody grows up where they're like, oh, 17 is okay, and then you sleep with them, even if it's illegal. It's a legal versus moral argument. But legally, like, if he gets arrested, he probably won't because it's been so long. But, like, I don't care. I'm not talking about legally. I'm talking about morality argument. It's something to consider. I don't really care. Again, that argument means he still did something wrong. He didn't think it was predatory at the time. It's a different conversation. So... Okay, I think you're just like, intentionally not trying to agree with me. I understand what you're saying. He was told it was wrong, and he still did it. True. That makes him responsible for that. That's wrong. But yes, I agree it's still wrong. Okay. No. The acknowledgement of him not caring after being told is super shitty. Yeah, sure, I agree with that. I'm not committed to the idea, but you're going to promise ring. Yeah, I'm going to get it a promise ring. I'm going to get it a clatter ring.
To speak their truth. But that's exactly why I couldn't just sit here and watch the whole world tell Tana that it doesn't apply to her. Regardless of the truth of the situation, I'm just so disappointed either way. That is all. Goodbye, Cody.
Okay. Solid video, I guess. I mean, I still feel somewhat similar to what I did before. Like, it's not good if he did it. Hot take, right? But we need to see more information before making like a definitive, decision. Really, we just don't know, right? And so that's kind of where we're kind of still at where I was at the first time I covered it. Not good. Yeah. So.